Hi, this video is about dimension analysis, and so hopefully this will get you ready for whatever conversions you face in your science class or whatever's coming. So the first problem that I have on the worksheet for us to do is how many minutes are in 3.5 days. And so what's great about time is that the world has the same units of time. We all work to that there's 60 seconds in 1 minute, and there's 60 minutes in 1 hour, and there's 24 hours in a day, and there's 7 days. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. And there's 7 days in a week, and there's 52 weeks in a year, and so that is fixed, and so that's very nice. What is not as easy is that some of us, mostly the U.S. and another country, use in the English system feet, yards, inches, and the rest of the world works in metric, so we need to know both. So we're also going to be looking at some of that. Okay, so for the first problem I have, the question is how many minutes are in 3.5 days? So that's the question we have, and so what I hope you can see from that is that what they're asking for is if they presented you with this just more mathy problem, 3.5 days is equal to how many minutes? So when you're doing dimension analysis or conversions, start with what they give you. So they start with 3.5 days. And what I like to do is always put that over 1. Anything you see is a fraction. You can put it over 1. That is legal. Divide by 1, multiply 1. That's the identity. That's okay. So put it as a fraction. And then what we want to do is travel with our conversions till we make it be minutes. So start with something that has days in it, and we want to get closer to minutes. So I'm going to choose this one. 24 hours is equal to 1 day. Now I can write this as hours over day or day over hour. It doesn't matter. I write it the way I need to write it. So right here, if I want to convert days to hours. That gets me closer. So I'm going to multiply this by 1 day. I want the day in the denominator so that these will cancel, times 24 hours. Okay, that gets me closer to minutes, and then I want to say, well, how many minutes are there in an hour? Well, there's 60 minutes in 1 hour, and so since I want to get rid of the hour, I want to put the hour in the denominator so it cancels right there, and the minutes in the numerator. And so when I do it this way, this is called dimension analysis. It tells you if you are getting the right answer. If I write days, I will divide into day, just like that was a variable, and those cancel out. Hour will divide into hour, and those cancel out. They divide into each other, giving you a 1 basically. And so what you're left with is, if in your calculator you want to multiply the numerators together, 3.5 times 24 times 60. So 3.5 times 24 times 60 divided by, and in your calculator, if these were not 1s and these were other numbers, I'll use 1s. You'll put divided by parentheses 1 times 1 times 1. Now 1 times 1 times 1 is just 1, so you don't have to really worry about that. But if these were other numbers, that's how you would enter it in your calculator. So we say 3.5 times 24 times 60 gives us 5,040 minutes. So the answer is 5,040 minutes. That's the answer to that one. Okay, let's go on to number 2. The question is, how many weeks are in 3,200 hours? 3,200 hours. Okay, well, if we want to travel this way, start with what you know. 3,200 hours over 1. And we want to travel to weeks. So pick something that has an hour conversion in it. Let's see. Hours to days. That would be good. And then we could go days to weeks, which is what we want. Let's do that. So we'll say times. Okay. Hours to days. Okay, I want to kill the hour, so I'll put it downstairs so that these will cancel and put 1 day up here. All right, so that gets me to days. And then I want to eventually get to weeks, so I'll put 7 days per week. And I want to cancel the day, so I'm going to put the 7 days down here and 1 week up here. And so what this gives me is the hours cancel, the days cancel, and I'm going to end up being in weeks is what I wanted. So what we'll do here is in our calculator, you would say 3,200 times 1 times 1. Of course, the ones will not change the value, but if it was a different number, you would do the same thing. Divided by parentheses 1 times 24 times 7. You want to divide by all of those. If you don't use those parentheses, instead of dividing, you'll be multiplying, and that will be wrong. So, when we multiply 3,200 times 1 divided by 1 times 24 times 7, we get approximately 19 weeks is what you get. All right? Let's do this one. 1,400 miles is equal to how many yards? Okay? So this is the English system. Instead of like kilometers and meters, we're using miles and yards. So let's go ahead and work with this. 1,400 miles is what we are given. So start with what you know, put it over 1. 1,400 miles over 1. And then, let's see, I have these other units up here. We want to convert to yards. So I have this conversion. 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. We'll use that one. And then we can also have, then we want to make it to yards. We can use 3 feet per 1 yard. So let's do that. Let's convert between the miles. So I want to kill the mile. So I put it in the denominator, 1 mile. And in the numerator, I'll put 5,280 feet. Okay. Now I want to get rid of the feet, and I want to turn it into yards. So I'll use 3 feet is equal to 1 yard, but I'll put the feet in the denominator so that it will cancel with the feet in the numerator. So when you do dimension analysis, you can tell for sure if you're ending up in the right unit is what I'm trying to think of. So for this one, we would say, okay, in your calculator, 1,400 times 5,280 times 1 divided by parentheses 1 times 3. This is the proper procedure. So when you do that, you should get 63,360 yards is what you should get. Okay, how about, oh no, I wrote down the wrong answer. That's the wrong answer. It's 2 million, sorry, I was looking at the wrong space. You should get 2,464,000. Yards. Okay, so how about this last one? Number 4 says, how many inches are in 1 mile? Or in other words, 1 mile is equal to how many inches? So, start with what you know. Write down 1 mile. 1 mile. Put it over 1. Okay, now we're going to multiply it by a conversion unit. Okay, over here, what can help us work down to mile? Okay, I can use this to get myself to feet. Okay, and then if I get to feet, I can go, oh, look here. I have how many feet are in inches. I can go straight to inches. So that's pretty good. Let's use that one. Let's see. 1 mile times, I want to kill the mile, so I'll put the 1 mile down here is equal to 5,280 feet. Okay. And then I want to get to inches, and so I'll say 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. I'll put the 1 foot down here because I want to get rid of it and say 12 inches. And so when I multiply 1 times 5,280 times 12 divided by parentheses 1 times 1 times 1 is the procedure for your calculator, you will get, this is where you'll get 63,360 inches. Okay, so that's dimension analysis. Now I have a couple of extra problems that will help us go just a little bit further in our thinking. So number 5, it says if Sam walks approximately 8 miles every day, so Sam walks 8 miles every day. Let's see. Ooh, I don't want to erase those things. Then, part A, how many feet does he walk in 3 weeks? Okay, number 5. Okay, Sam walks 8 miles every day, or 8 miles per day. That's another way you can write that. 8 miles per day. And then it says, how many feet does he walk in 3 weeks? So, how many feet does he walk in 3 weeks is what we want to convert this to. Feet, how many feet in 3 weeks? So if I convert this to feet per weeks, then I can just multiply it in 3 weeks. So first let's concentrate on converting this to feet per weeks, and then we'll see what we can do with that. Okay, 8 miles per day, 8 miles. So what we have different here is a rate. 8 miles per day, per 1 day is what we have. Okay, so if we want to know how many miles he walked in 3 days, we would multiply this by 3. If we want to know how much he walks in a week, we convert this to per week, and then we would multiply it by 3 weeks. So that's how this is going to work. Okay, so let's see here. We start with 8 miles per day, and I want to get to feet per week. First, 2 things are converting. The miles is going to convert to feet, and the days is going to convert to weeks. So let's work on both of those things. All right, first let's deal with the miles. I wanted to get it to feet. Well, that's pretty easy right here. Miles per feet will give me that. So I'll say times 1 mile, 5,280 feet. Okay, that will take care of the feet. Now I want to convert it to weeks. Well, days, oh, there's 7 days in a week. That's not too bad. So I want to kill the days, so I'll put the 7 days up top so that these will cancel, and I'll say per 1 week. All right, let's see. Miles cancels with miles. Days cancel with days. And what am I left with? Feet per week. So that's perfect. So what do I get here? I say 8 times 5,280 times 7 divided by 1 times 1 times 1, just like we did in the other exercises. And we end up with 295,680 feet per week. All right. So that's not, we haven't fully answered the question. The question is, how many feet does he walk in 3 weeks? So we take this, and then we say, okay, times 3 weeks. And you can always put something over 1. And watch, these weeks will cancel. And this is just going to be feet. So how many feet does he walk in 3 weeks? We take this and multiply it by 3. And we get 887,040 feet is what we get. All right, then part B. How many kilometers does he walk in 3 weeks? Now, this is a unit of metric. So that's fine. We can talk metric. We just need a conversion to get us there. So one of the conversions we can use, this is the one I chose. There are many. Let me see. Which is the one I chose? I found something that said that 1 foot is approximately 0.3 meters. Now that will help me, and in the second video I talk about metrics. Here's another conversion that says 1,000 meters is equal to 1 kilometer. And so the second part B was, how many kilometers does he walk in 3 weeks? Well, let's start right here. If he walks this many feet in 3 weeks, right? He walks 887,040 feet in 3 weeks. We just figured that out. All we got to do is convert feet to kilometers. And we can do that with these two. Put this over 1, remember, times 0.3 meters per 1 foot. Now this is not the only conversion. There are so many different conversions that you can find. This is just the one I found, so that I'm going to use it. It works. I'm going to convert feet to meters, and then there are 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. And so right here, feet go with feet, meters go with meter, and so what I will multiply is, in my calculator, 887,040 times 0.3 times 1, close parentheses, divided by, parentheses, 1 times 1,000. And this gives me, what did I get there? approximately, I rounded to the nearest whole number, 266. No, 226. No, 66 kilometers. Okay. So then the second problem I had on here that kind of takes us a little bit further is if a particle has a velocity of 8.4 miles per hour, what's the velocity in feet per second? That's another rate we need to convert. Or what is the velocity in meters per second? So we can do that pretty easily. Number 6, we're talking about the velocity, which is another rate of a particle. And so it says 8.4 miles per hour. And we want to convert this into feet per second. So this isn't too hard. Miles needs to convert to feet. Again, we'll use this guy. So to kill the miles, put the mile in the denominator, put the feet in the numerator. Great. Okay, that took care of the feet. And then we want to get hours to seconds. Okay, well, let's see. Let's get hours to minutes, and then let's get minutes to seconds. So that's not too bad. Hours, 1 hour. Oops, we want to kill the hour, so put it up top, 1 hour per 60 minutes. All right, let's change minutes to seconds. I'll put the minute in the numerator to get rid of him, and the 60 seconds in the denominator, because we want this to convert to feet per second. So is that going to work? Miles, gone. Minutes, gone. Hours, gone. What am I left with? Feet per second. So this is going to be fine. So what you do is you multiply parentheses 8.4 times 5,280 times 1 times 1 divided by parentheses 1 times 60 times 60. And that gives us, what did I get? What did I get? Oh, that's meters per second. Oh, I got 12.32 feet per second. Okay, the second thing they asked us to do was to change the velocity into meters per second. Well, I already have this. I have 12.32 feet per second. If I need to change this to meters per second, I don't need to change the second. I just need to change the feet into meters. And look at this. That's pretty easy. I have that one right there. Let's just do that. Where am I going to put the feet in the denominator so that it gets knocked out? And I want to change it to meters times 0.3 meters. The feet will go away, and I'm left with meters per second. So 12.32 times 0.3 divided by 1 basically gives me 3.7 meters per second. So what I want to really emphasize is that if you include your units, it tells you if you make a mistake. It tells you if you're doing it right, because you can watch it cancel as you go. This is called dimension analysis.